the legends of memory and storage. Crucial brings you the ultimate performance in gaming. Legendary products. Precision engineered. For speed and stability. Crucial ballistics.
Hi guys, this is Zaya and welcome to Streamer Reviews, where gaming streamers review the best new gaming laptops. Gamers are an impatient bunch, and I've got a laptop just for you. Let's look at the top 3 reasons why the Acer Predator Helios 300 is perfect for the impatient gamer. Number 1. Its 11th Gen Intel Core i7 processor, which brings out the potential of the GPU's high-speed GDDR6 memory to ensure faster experience with higher frame rates and lower latency. Gamers hate long load times. That's why our second reason is the Helios 300's 2TB PCIe SSD. The SSD operates at PCIe Gen 4 speeds, giving you incredible read-write speeds for a faster response time. If all this wasn't enough, check out reason number 3. The 5th Gen Aeroblade 3D technology plus Vortex Flow, which lets you say goodbye to heating issues. Shout out to the Predator Sense dashboard, which lets you monitor your system, overclock, and customize everything instantly from one place. I think it's clear that this system is geared for super fast results. Get your Acer Helios 300 powered by 11th Gen Intel Core processor now.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to LG Ultragear presents Tec Gauntlet Season 4, powered by Crucial. Our gaming partner is Intel, and of course, our apparel partner is none other than 656. We have a bunch of interesting games today for you guys, and after a long weekend, it's the perfect day to start. And today, we have Optimistic Esports versus Reckoning Esports going up.
Oh, it's going to be a great match. You know, both the rosters of Optimistic Esports and Reckoning Esports, they've been playing Gauntlet for a while. They've had the names. The players have been attached to the Gauntlet for a couple of seasons as well. And in this season, it's going to be one of the best performances for both of the rosters, regardless of where they will end up. Because with what we've seen so far on the likes of both of the teams, they have been giving amazing results, especially Reckoning Esports. I mean, the bounce back that they've had after Season 3. Season 3 was really not optimal for them. But since then, you know, the growth, the tremendous, like, especially after this roster change that they had, the organization overtaking the new roster, things have really been on the up and up. And the same goes for Optimistic Esports as well. No deniability in that.
Optimistic Esports, these guys, they are on the verge of something great, I'll tell you that. But you know who else is great? All the players that have been wreaking havoc across the season. Let's take a look at the MVP standings and see who all are there who have already won our hearts and might continue to do the same again and again.
Yeah, yet again, it's going to be your usual suspects. It's going to be Raw Fuel still at the top of the tables. I mean, I do not remember a time where Raw Fuel was not on the first position in the MVP standings. But hey, it just goes to show the amount, the performance A, Enigma have been having as a roster, and B, the impact Raw Fuel has every single time he drops into the server as well. But then you have the likes of Sami, Paradox, and Shooter, and these guys as well, every single time they step into the server, the thing is, everyone notices them one way or another. If you have a look at the kill feed at any moment in the rounds, in the matches, in the maps, you will see one of these three names stand up. The question now is, these standings are all well and good, but many of these teams haven't fought off against each other just yet. In the playoffs as well, they certainly will. And where exactly will these MVP standings and the players themselves they'll stand? Is it going to be representative of the standings right now, or are we going to see some shakeups? It's a good question to think about, but another great question to think about is who will be the teams in the playoffs. And to have an answer for that, let's have a look at the standings of the groups.
Right at the start, we have Team Exploit, no surprises over there. But after that, it's a close second for Reckoning Esports and Optimistic Esports following right behind them. This is a battle for supremacy at this point. Optimistic Esports might be just 1 point behind them, and this could be the chance for them to take the lead. Of course, both of these teams are well in the safe zone. I don't think that there's any denial that they should be able to make it into the playoffs. There's a very high chance that they'll make it through. But of course, there's something called as flex. And if you're above the opponent team on the group standings, then that is a big goddamn flex. And of course, style points matter over here. So that's why Reckoning Esports and Optimistic, they are going to be fighting for supremacy today.
Yeah, and most of the side of Reckoning Esports, the thing is they've played one lesser game than the side of Team Exploit. So this is going to be their fifth best of three. If they do end up winning this, they're going to be on equal points as Exploit, and this just shapes up into one of the most perfect matches in the group standings that we will be seeing later down the road. It's going to be Exploit up against Reckoning Esports, because yes, they will be fighting for bragging rights that we were the undefeated team, but more so, they'll be fighting for the seed. They'll be fighting for the first seeding into the playoffs, and that is something both of these teams, as a matter of fact, every single team would like. And speaking of these teams, well, now let's introduce the rosters for both of these squads as well that will be participating in today's matchup. And we will be starting off with the side of Optimistic Esports, and this is a squad that, well, the players, they have played under different banners, many different banners, but as a squad, many of these players have stuck together and they have branched out. Roster changes have happened, but with the squad that they have right now, with the 5-man roster, including these members, I think Optimistic have really good chances of making it into the playoffs and making it big in South Asia.
They definitely do. They're showing signs of promise. They've been knocking on the doors of Tier 1 Valorant for a very long time, and it's about time that Success and Destiny answers there too. Of course, the player in Spotlight, in my opinion, is going to be IonQ, but we take a look at who Crucial decides it is. We'll take a look at the MVP for Optimistic Esports, and while every one of these players is deserving of a highlight reel of their own, Fox is the one who takes the attention today. He's the man on top of the cake, and he has a damn good potential of being a sweet, sweet cherry over there. You know what else? He can be a damn good Sky too. I mean, he's not the best in the entire gauntlet just yet, but he's showing so much potential in terms of being a damn good initiator. His timing is not perfect yet. There is scope of improvement over there, but his firepower and the way he supports his teammates is still brilliant.
That's the one thing. Fox to me is more like a jack of all trades, because exactly, you mentioned his utility may not be at the most upper echelons of South Asian Valorant. However, it's the firepower he carries alongside the versatility. Not only have we seen Fox play the initiator role, the Sky, many a times, even in the previous match that the side of Optimistic Esports played here, the Gauntlet was against Team Valor, we saw Fox playing the Killjoy, a Sentinel, and we saw him playing the Raze, a duelist. So really what I'm saying thing is, like I just mentioned, he is a jack of all trades. It's not just about the agent or the agent archetype he'll be choosing, whether it be an initiator, sentinel, duelist, but rather Fox himself is a force to be reckoned with, and no matter which opponent he encounters, he will obliterate them either with his utility or with his gunplay.
Why not both? Why not both?
You know?
Today, he's going to require all of it if he wants to go
Hmm.
up against his opponents, and his opponents are none other than Reckoning Esports, sitting currently at the second spot in the group standings. Reckoning Esports, they were on the verge of getting the top spot. If it really wasn't for Team Exploit, then they would have captured that. And they were on the top up until they battled their opponents last time, up until they battled Team Exploit. So there's really just one team who's been able to defeat them up until now. Can Optimistic Esports beat that second team? We'll have to see.
We certainly do. And well, there is going to be good competition between both of these rosters as well. Just like what I was talking about the side of Optimistic Esports and the versatility, not just Fox, but all of their players have. Reckoning have similar attributes attached to their own roster as well. We've seen so many times in best of three, such as the ones we see here, the Gauntlet, Reckoning Esports will be swapping agent archetypes left, right, and center. And no matter who the player highlighted is, the MVPs are really just extremely versatile. At times, you can see many different players having standout performances, which is both good and bad. Good because, again, as a roster, they're very good. But the bad thing is you won't really have someone to rely on, since anyone can pop off. The thing is, anyone can have a silent day as well. And that's the thing, that inherently as a roster can sometimes weaken your squad. However, there is still a lot of firepower, and that's why we'll be shining the MVP spotlight on one of the members from the side of Reckoning Esports. And that member is going to be Smoker. Absolutely. Well deserving spotlight.
I mean, there's two ways to look at it, right? If one of them can pop off and the other one can have a silent day, I mean, that's like seeing the glass as half empty. If you try to see the
Hmm.
glass half full perspective, it would be that the entire team has to step up every time. And it's more of a team
Exactly.
effort. Everyone does the job together, everyone lifts the weight equally instead of them relying on one person to carry the entire team. So that's also like, a positive way to look at them. But of course, Smoke is the one who's in spotlight right now. Can he carry the team? Well, on the attacking side, we don't know for sure. But on the defensive side, while it tells you that this guy's signature character is a Cypher, please do not get bamboozled. He will frequently
Hmm.
push out even on the defensive side, and he will try to gather map control. So he's that proactive member. Whatever character he chooses, he just prioritizes map control first instead of, being a flashy fighter or a duelist of that sort.
That is true. Reckoning Esports, they have, I mean, we know them to use their utility quite early on to contest for that map control. And then whatever map control they have, they gather the information. For example, if they're like, such as, they have control, a large amount of control over to the B bomb side, they will have someone push up, regardless of what kind of agent they're playing, whether it be someone like an Astra, someone like a Sova. A certain member will push up, they will stay there. If they get any information, if they get any auditory information like footsteps that, okay, opponents are coming my way, you know what, let's fall back, let's tell to my squad that, okay, they're pushing up B, and play it safely. If no one pushes up, well, then they have extra information that no one's coming B. Chances are, well, obviously the opponents are going to go A to stack up there. And that's something we know Reckoning to do early on. They are going to invest that utility. Now, how exactly are going to be the deflection tactics on the side of Optimistic Esports, and more so, where exactly will Optimistic be looking to get that map control? And only one way to find out, it's to have a look at the maps that we'll be seeing in this best of three. So let's have a look at the veto.
You start with Haven. Impressive.
Oh.
Reckoning
Mm-hmm.
Esports picking up the three-sided map right off the bat. Um, I why am I surprised to see this? Reckoning Esports love map control, right? And if there is
Exactly.
one map where you have the ability to flex your map control skills and multitasking skills, then it has to be Haven. But the quite opposite of that is Split. Very reliant on mid. If you try to make a play through the extremities, it has to come through in the force of either brute force, which obviously is very difficult to rely on, or really, well crunched executes from mid and the extremities at the same time. Haven is quite the opposite of that. So you can see the contrasting styles of these two teams already. I'm actually
Yeah.
surprised there was no Ascent. I mean, Optimistic seem like the kind of team that really will thrive on a map like Ascent, but hey, they'll have to somehow pretend that it's split and carry forward that same thing. Icebox, on the other hand, I'm Not really sure about what's going to happen in Icebox, probably because I haven't seen these teams play on that map all that much. Maybe that's just
True.
me. Do you have an opinion on Icebox?
Icebox, I'm not really sure. There's a lot to talk about Haven as well, but first off, starting right from the get-go, we will be starting off with the match. The agent selection is right here in front of our screens, and I think both of these rosters will be locking in a double initiator. Now, what the question I want to ask is the secondary initiator. We can see on the side of Reckoning, Smoker's gone for the KO. Okay, makes sense. Yet again, again, it's the versatility we are talking about. We just saw these members. We were talking about Reckoning Esports. We were talking about things such as, how they prefer to play many kinds of agents. And yet again, we were talking about Smoker, we were talking about the Cypher. Well, now he's opt for the initiator as well. On the side of Optimistic Esports, Immutable, I'm thinking maybe a breach can be picked from the side of Optimistic. But honestly, if we're coming back to your question, Crips, like having a look at these maps in general, Icebox, I'm not thinking about it. Haven has my entire attention because yes, Reckoning Esports have chosen that map, but on the other hand, Optimistic Esports have played this map very recently here at the Gauntlet. They defeated FS Esports like 13-3 on Haven a couple of weeks ago. 13-3. And then like a week ago, they played it against Team Valor as well. Yes, they lost, but they lost 11-13. Very close game and one sheer one-sided victory, which makes me think that both of these rosters are going to fight it all out. If the energy reserves of all 10 of these players is like 100 average, 70% of that may just be seen on Haven because of how closely contested it will be.
Amazing. Well, instead of having double initiator in the form of Sky, both the teams have opted for a KO. Okay, then, I mean, in the last 1 or 2 weeks, ever since VCC has started, we've seen so many teams start to, prefer the KO over the Sky. This could be the signal of a massive meta shift, but for now, the only thing that really differentiates these teams is the choice of the Sentinel that they have. The Killjoy versus the Chamber. Of course, one of the French agents prefers to take matters into his own hands rather than his German counterpart who leaves things up to turrets. Do you think that's going to be a big factor coming into this? Because, of course, on the defensive side, Killjoy has the ability to shut things down, and the lockdown helps quite a lot in retakes. Chamber, on the other hand, yeah, sure, you can get a free AWP, but can you connect the shots with it? I mean, there's no guarantee. There's no ability to clear out area as much as Killjoy.
True.
Unless your definition of clearing things out means killing people, I mean, which is more efficient and obviously a lot more fun to look at.
All right. One major thing I'm noticing is that, if you're on the topic of, well, I mean, we were just talking about Sentinels, but coming back to initiators as well, Deadly 10, he used to be like one of the primary, like you were just mentioning, ever since, VCC has started, there have been so many more KO preferences here in South Asia as well. Deadly 10 was one of the, I wouldn't say pioneers, but like one of the early adapters of that. And it's one of the reasons why I love KO mains here in South Asia is because they are so darn good with those pop flashes. And it all started with my love for Deadly 10's pop flashes. Now, we aren't seeing him on that KO. He's going to be on the Jet. And yes, regardless of what agent he plays, he's Deadly 10. After all, he's going to click heads. But it just goes to show that both of these teams, regardless of what kind of playstyle they have, their theory is just going to be, and I know I've said this word a lot already, but I'm going to keep on repeating it, versatility. They do not want to set a standard. They always want to keep their opponents guessing which player is going to take which agent, and this just confuses the opponents when they're doing their homework on both Optimistic or Reckoning. Well, now it's time to give that homework in for checking. It's going to be checking the corners, and it's going to be the first kill. Deadly 10 falls to the ground. First casualty, Smokey absolutely cornered off. There's 1 on short, 2 on A long, and this aggression from Optimistic Esports forces the hand of Reckoning to fall back, and not a lot of map control gathered.
Yeah, the only hope of reclaiming some of that map control is Battle of getting a pick over here. Hopefully, Webby God walks in unaware, but the timing, it's so bad. He crossed over. At least he can relay this information to his team. I mean, this could be good because right now the defenders are starting to stack the C side, and that's exactly where the attackers were trying to get the spike to. With the information that this chamber can provide to them, they will now know that the defenders are stacked towards the C side, and as a result, they start gravitating towards B instead. Most of the offenses will be towards the A-Link region unless maybe he crosses over unharmed? You gotta be kidding me. He's so lucky with that. But here comes the execute. Are the defenders ready?
Oh, there goes the Nano Storm yet again, slowing down the attack. 20 seconds. The members of Reckoning have to push in, but their HP is depleting, and alongside it, so is their number count. Battle of Pixels. Two great headshots, two different weapons, but it may just be the same outcome. Attackers are dwindling down. It's all down to Battle of, and yeah. The defenders absolutely swamped the bomb side. C-Link, A-Link, from mid as well. There was the backstab and there was just nothing that Reckoning Esports could do about it. They had no choice. They had to, like you say, brute force their way into the bomb side because of the time pressure created.
Yeah.
And Optimistic Esports just capitalized on that and thus won the round.
And quite honestly, this time pressure was created because there was a moment in time where Reckoning Esports thought they were the ones in the lead. Remember the first engagement? Deadly 10 dashes in. I mean, Ion Q was suppressed, and with him not having the dash, Deadly 10 thought he has the advantage. But surprise, instead of just Ion Q, there's two people present over there, and instant death. This time Ion Q is alone. That's true. That's what they think. But the moment they start to come through, even the Sova comes in here for backup. The same repeat procedure of the pistol round. They let one person take a fight for a very long amount of time. In this case, that person being Ion Q. And just when Reckoning Esports think, yeah, this guy is isolated, let's get him, where we got jumps into the fray. And there you go. The numbers advantage is instantly flipped.
Now, Reckoning Esports, I think surely they must realize, just like you mentioned, that, okay, reinforcements are coming in far too quickly for the side of Optimistic Esports, but more specifically, we cannot dispatch the member that we are engaging in a gunfight with. So, Reckoning need to use their utility to their advantage. Now, granted, the previous round was a eco. I bet no one bought a lot of utility. So, yeah. But in this case, Reckoning Esports have to invest not just in their rifles, not just in their armor, but in utility as well. For the side of Optimistic Esports, well, the only thing they have to invest in is utility because they are not going to be buying any rifles. Proper bonus round for them. The previous one was a flawless. Not a single person died, meaning all the guns carry over to round number 3. Optimistic are looking in great economic condition, but they can deal out far more disposition to the members of Reckoning Esports if they can dispatch these rifles. That certainly is going to be the objective of OE. They don't want to necessarily win the round. I mean, they want to, but they know it's going to be quite difficult. Rather, go for kills, play for trades, and that's exactly the setup we can see towards the C-bomb side as well. There's the Astra, and then Ion Q holding long and tagging one of the members of Reckoning.
Well, they spotted the Astra, but will this information help them? Because the A hit is imminent. Baby God recognizes this, realizes he can't hold on to it all by himself, so decides to give up on this area and play for the retake instead, while Kawhi is already on the backstab, securing a bigger rifle and coming in from the backlines. That's going to put a lot of pressure onto the hands of Reckoning Esports. Oh my God. The shock darts and the spray from Baby God. They don't even let the planter get away. And with that, Reckoning Esports get into the site, but at what cost?
Yeah, the backstab, look at it from behind. Well, it's only going to be the chamber. Badlove to hold off the two members of Optimistic Esports, and Badlove, yeah, he has to use his signature ability, but now here comes the force from the defender spawn. That's one kill for the chamber. Isolated gunfights, and okay, quickly, but certainly Reckoning Esports take this round for themselves. This trifecta is a perfect situation, and the crossfire is being maintained. I mean, credit where it's due. Badlove all by himself got those 2 kills. Had he not gotten that, then the entire post-plan scenario would have collapsed, because these two surviving attackers absolutely couldn't have maintained their crossfires with how they were doing. And then Deadly 10 and Rio with their spray transfers and their headshots as well. This round was just won because of mechanical abilities possessed by the members of Reckoning Esports. The headshots they clicked, the spray transfers, everything just clicked.
Exactly. I mean, after losing Pixels and Smoker, one would have thought that they would lose the round, but the crossfire of Badlove, Rio and Deadly 10, and then Badlove holding off all by himself. Ion Q pushing into dangerous territory. He encountered the same player over here in the last round as well. He saw Pixels in the exact same spot. Will he recognize that he's holding here every round? That's information that he can utilize in other rounds as well when he has better weaponry to work with. But this time, he's got the best gun of them all, the Operator. And he's patient. Peeks, no connection. No problem. At least with this, Reckoning Esports know where not to go. They spotted out the Operator, but will they change their approach because of this?
Yeah, because from the side of Optimistic Esports, it's the same defense. It's just going to be Sova all alone on A. Now Optimistic are making the assumption that okay, it may be a A take, so that's why we see IonQ rotating over. But Reckoning Esports, they are changing their strategies. They're looking for the fakes towards the A bomb side. They're throwing a bit of the utility. Meanwhile, the actual push happens already on B. But it's just going to be the entry frag or Deadly 10 evading the Nano Swarm and just securing himself into the bomb site. 30 seconds remain. The spike's gonna go down. Well, there's the YB. There's YB got with the 100 speedy, but there's a kill. It's not an opponent kill. It's a team kill. And this just blunders the plans of Optimistic Esports to go for a retake, because not only has the spike gone down, the number count, the man count of Optimistic Esports has gone down with it.
Definitely not what he intended there. Even Kawhi and Immutable fall, both of them through smokes. Webby got with a consolation kill, and there's not much that IonQ can do except save that operator. Even if he gets a pick or two, the chances of him coming through are very slim. Even lower when Rio is coming through the backstab. Oh, that did not work out as planned. I mean, in the past, Optimistic Esports have been very comfortable with letting B go. They've been comfortable with letting it, be taken over by Reckoning Esports and play for the retake instead. And things would have worked for them if the Hunter's Fury worked as intended. It did stop them from planting for a couple of seconds, but Fox's death was certainly not something that
The
should have
intention.
happened.
Exactly. But, well, it's forced Optimistic to go for this eco ban. I think the thing is that for the side of Optimistic Esports, they've got to realize that Reckoning know about the default hold they have, pushing up someone on C long. Well, in this case, it's going to be quite the opposite. No one's there on C long, not even on the C bomb side. Reckoning at free territory, free real estate. They'll be moving in, not before Immutable gets a triple with the Sheriff, a single magazine. And now Deadly 10 is right here in the bomb side. Man advantage, not for the attackers. They have to protect these guns as well, because again, Optimistic Esports, they are on pistols. This is the one advantage Reckoning have. Rifles versus pistols. So they cannot let the defenders get those dropped rifles. They have to plant the spike as well, or get a couple of kills. YB got stuck right here. There was the bow in his hand, but he evades those bullets, and Deadly 10, he's pushed up. He's going to be swinging very soon. He hears the audio cue. Great headshot on his way for a 4K. No, he won't. The frenzy denies him. And it's all going to come down to the chamber. Oh, isolating one gunfight. IonQ's there. He's got the classic. Faking it. It's gonna happen. Alright, it's classic. Up against that Vandal. Oh, it's a Sheriff now on Bad Love. But he still secures the kill.
I absolutely hate that Reckoning had to lose so many players to win the round. Credit where credit is due. This peak from Immutable, it is just absolutely French skits. This guy, he built the round so well for Optimistic Esports. It's a shame that they couldn't follow through. I really thought that they had this in the bag when that dash happened and he was about to kill Kawhi, who was in his yoga form, but he pulls out the frenzy and shoots him in the head just in the nick of time, and I thought, that's it, that's all that Optimistic Esports need. Oh, but bad love. He had to sacrifice a little part of his soul to capture that round. And it's now lost forever, surrendered to the depths of hell, never to be recovered again. Just like the rifles, they will be never recovered again. What a massive economic hit Reckoning Esports have taken right now. I mean, all of their players were above the $5,000 mark. Now, almost all of them are somewhere close to either 2,000 or 3,000. There's only Bad Love who has enough money left, and Rio to some extent. But that's because they had stayed alive for so long. They barely lost their rifles. And yeah, that's the reward of, carrying forward the guns that you have. Oh.
Absolutely. And now, after this timeout, I mean, it's interesting to think about what exactly is going on in both of the boot camps. What exactly are the coaches telling to the players as well? Because I genuinely think it's going to be two very different conversations, taking place for both Optimistic Esports and Reckoning as well. But it all has to come down to the same result. And yet again, Optimistic Esports, okay, you have multiple members in Garage, but you do allow Reckoning to take side control. I get Optimistic are playing on the KO alt, they are playing on towards, the retake as well. But again, the entire site being taken over just gives so much leeway to the attackers to get into good positions. Because again, look at that. The attackers are pushed up into defender territory. There are backstabs happening as well. And wherever the defenders are taking foot, the attackers are right there with their guns pointed.
What on earth is Bad Love up to? Why is he in a shot? What kind of a flank is that? That's too wide. Meanwhile, his teammates are doing a good job of defending the C side. So I guess you can go around, roam around the map like a picnic, do whatever. And even Optimistic Esports are confused now. There's people who's trying to backstab us while we're busy knocking on the doors of the site. What do? They can't even save. Okay, then Reckoning Esports just being granted the whole round on a silver platter. I mean, in round number 4, I pointed out that Optimistic were comfortable with letting the B side go in for the retake. But now it seems like they're doing that for the C side as well. So what's the plan here? Are they only planning to defend Garage and none of the sides?
Not really sure. But what I'm sure is, congratulations to Badler for completing the Valorant 400-meter sprint. I mean, that was just like all over entirely. But again, the thing is, I guess Optimistic Esports, they're like, okay, sometimes our A hits don't necessarily work. But the thing is, on A, they still have the alone Sova. Problem is, on C, there is absolutely no one. Yet again, I mean, granted, yes, it's an eco round for the defense. No one on C. They're just going to push up towards mid, push on the attackers, and the spike is still over at attacker spawn. There is a chance that Optimistic Esports are successful with overwhelming their opposition. But the opposition, again, they've realized C site is empty. It's going to be a major backstab. It's all going to come down to Pixels here in attacker spawn. He has to hold off as many defenders as possible. Utility will be thrown at him. Bullets will be fired at him. He has to persevere. He'll be good for Drew. Drops his rifle and allows his teammates to take nearby positions so that they can get these freebies as well.
All the defenders coming in from C long. It's kind of like a role reversal where the defenders are now attacking the site from the pathway that attackers would usually take. Except the time pressure is just so massive. And look at the repercussions as well. The spike has been planted on the other side of the boxes. Bad Love tapping away like it's just shooting fish in a barrel. I mean, roles really have reversed now, haven't they? For the third round in a row, Reckoning Esports have been granted the C site for absolutely free. No resistance whatsoever. They go in for the plant. And this time, Reckoning were well aware that Optimistic Esports won't come in from the regular defender side entrances or garage. They will come in from C long. That's why they even planted for for the back of C side. I mean, Reckoning Esports are reading this and Optimistic are doing nothing about this.
Here's another interesting thought, Crips. It's been 7 rounds in the attack of Reckoning Esports. Bad Love as a chamber, as a sentinel is top fragging. Once this man as a sentinel goes onto the defense, what do you think is going to happen? I mean, even now he has the Torre Falls, but not enough opportunities for him to utilize it. So he just has it safe for like, I believe it's been like a solid 3-4 rounds. But regardless, it's just going to be a massacre, and the members of Optimistic Esports need to find ways to dispatch this attack, and the way they do it is by contesting early on. For the previous couple of rounds, yes, the guns haven't been strong, but now that they back are on equal terms in terms of the weaponry, well, exactly what I hoped Optimistic Esports would do. Utilize that firepower, go for those kills, even if you die, get information and back off, which is an important task that Kawhi has. He was spam firing through the smoke, but loses his life.
Well, at least with this, they got the information that the C side is clear. Yet again, this time they're putting up a much bigger door that they have to knock on. Cosmic Divide for that matter. Spike plant will be delayed for just a little bit, but no kill because of the Hunter's Fury. It doesn't really change all that much. The only difference is that it bought Optimistic a couple more seconds, because this Cosmic Divide will fade away soon. But forget fading away. Reckoning Esports push beyond it themselves? Okay then. No need to knock on the door. It will be open for you. They are the ones who knock.
They're not the ones in danger. They are the danger themselves. It's Reckoning Esports. And so far, I mean, again, 6 rounds consecutively, Crips. I get, yes, on Haven, attackers are far more preferred because you have 3 bomb sites, you have far more resources to play with and far more opportunities to go through as well. But 6 rounds consecutively against a team like Optimistic, who were looking so confident after the initial 2, it's just a big swap that has happened. And it worries me for the side of Optimistic Esports, because now the only hope I have is as soon as the side swap happens, which won't be for another 4 rounds. So Optimistic have to hold on with whatever they have in order to get through this defense. And now it's going to be an A take. There are many members there are many defenders right here on the A bomb side, but Reckoning, surely they must realize this. They need some form of information to give them this. and they're not following through on other sides of the map as well. It's quite confusing what exactly is happening because the defenders are right here towards mid. IonQ, he gets 1 kill, he picks up the Vandal as well, and now Optimistic Esports, they can try to fall back, but no, instead they're pushing through. Kawhi, not really sure what's happening, but yeah, it's a round.
It's a round where everyone is going around and playing deathmatch. There's no semblance of where fights are taking place all over the map. For now, the attackers will get control of the A side, but I have to admit that if you look at the heat map of this round later on any one of those Valorant sites, tactical sites, you will notice that even the AI can't figure out why on earth duels are taking place where they are doing. Defender Killjoy. Will they ever expect Deadly 10 to be in heaven? I bet that he's gonna get shot in the back of his head and he will never realize. Or worse, knifed. But they're letting him stick it? Ah, finally Deadly 10 puts him out of his misery. Okay, can we just rewind for a little bit? First of all, to answer your question about why Bad Love as a Sentinel is getting so many frags, it's because Optimistic Esports are latter areas of mid and trying to go for backstabs rather than facing Reckoning Esports head on. I mean, we've been seeing Reckoning Esports get free C side control all this time, and now when they go towards the A side, they are still able to get it. There's zero defense. Absolutely zero defense from Optimistic Esports. Instead, Optimistic are hoping that Baby God and Ion can get into these crucial corners and break them apart from the inside, maybe through a backstab from mid very early on in the round. But Reckoning Esports are just so patient. Once again, Optimistic Esports aggression might just get them punished, but at least they haven't given up any sides for free except for A1. They're making up for it by having IonQ push, but absolutely nothing can be accomplished.
Okay, this is a good position from Kawhi. Absolutely unexpected, but still, Pixels. He thinks there's something right here. The members of Optimistic Esports, they have something up their sleeves, and his assumption will be correct. He can call out the bluff. However, can he save his life if he intends to go towards C-Long? Because with a minute on the clock, the members of Reckoning Esports, they start to get a bit desperate. However, Deadly 10, he can solve all of their woes. Yep, an excellent kill right here. He peeks towards C-Long. In this case, cannot win the gunfight. There are more members from the side of the attack pushing in. Here's Smoker coming from Garage. Other members fall through from C-Long. Fox, okay. 11 HP, survives but quickly traded out. And now the spike can go down as YB God's location is known.
1-on-2. Could this finally be a round that Optimistic Esports put up on the board? Bad Love pulls out his massive sniper to say no. Even Reckoning Esports are confused as to how they're winning these rounds. I mean, you can see it on their faces, and especially in this timeout that they have just taken, has to be something that these guys expect, right? Reckoning Esports have been getting free C-side control. I've said this like, what, 4 times now? But this time something weird happens. They try to take control of Garage first. They meet some resistance by Optimistic Esports, but after that, you have so many of the defenders coming in one by one, having no semblance of trading, and hoping that they will be able to clutch out some of these fights. Consider this, I mean, you had Kawhi somewhere towards C-Long, while Fox was well inside Garage, and while both of them are covering C-Long and Garage, one wouldn't expect an attacker to get into the side, right? But that still happens. Fox, of course, is able to kill him later on, but it's just head-scratching. It is a head-scratcher. That's exactly what this guy is doing on the cameras. Scratching his head. I mean, he knows he's winning, but how?
How indeed? I think that's the main takeaway, is that if anyone can answer how or why exactly are things happening the way they are.
We know why Optimistic Esports are not able to win. Reckoning Esports, they probably will laugh a lot when they, watch this VOD later on, and they have some idea as to why this is happening, but they'll just be very, very happy to take it. I mean, if the golden goose is laying an egg for you, you wouldn't ask how. You'll just take the egg. Take the gold.
That is true. Absolutely so. They lay in no time into trying to get map control. Nothing towards C from either one of these teams. Again, Well, from Optimistic Esports, they have Astra pushed up towards Garage. The two members on A side, they have to survive for a bit longer or they have to ask for reinforcements very rapidly. And the question is, where exactly will the reinforcements come through? Baby God, he has spotted one of the members, but excellent shot from Deadly 10. He can isolate another gunfight, but in this case, it's going to be IonQ securing not just the kill, but his ultimate, the Bladestorm as well, and it forces Reckoning Esports and all their members to fall back and look for positions, look for entry somewhere else. And again, they can move on to the C bomb side. It is completely free. All they need is one well-placed shock dart from Rio to clear out all those nanoswarms that are right there on the entrance, and that can just allow them, through the usage of smokes to get into the bomb site and plant the spike.
Yeah, but that's not where the spike is headed. I mean, for that matter, even the A side is empty. At least on C side, they have some killjoy utility, and now the defender's starting to rotate over there. But A is still very much up for the taking. And Reckoning Esports are being even more careful with their weaponry. This guy just tossed that dropped Vandal out of the map. So now, Optimistic can't recover Deadly 10's weapon. Oh, but they go towards the C side nonetheless. Here comes the ultimate, and Rio doesn't even get to see his killer. Gets taken down by a shock dart from afar, and these guys are just absolutely rolling into the site. One wouldn't have expected any different from an eco round, but still. At least Optimistic Esports, one good thing that came out of this round for them was that they were able to at least maintain that default and not let that empty A side be taken care of. Sure, they can get some consolation kills as well onto Bad Love, but I don't think it's going to result in a round win.
Round win is far from the taking for the side of Optimistic Esports. They can save this rifle right there. And, well, IonQ, he's looking to either get an exit kill, sacrifice himself, anything and everything, because this is a lot of desperation for the defense, and that's going to be a rifle picked up. So good stuff right now from the members of Optimistic Esports. And the thing is, though, again, Reckoning Esports, they have their 9th round on board. No matter the result of the final round, if it's a 9-3, if it's a 10-2, the thing is, that's a big gap for Optimistic Esports to catch up. Yes, they have the double initiator setup, but again, it's gonna come down to the gunfights, because now there are going to be no more of these major flanks that Optimistic can indulge in. As attackers, they have to face the defense head on, and Reckoning Esports will absolutely be ready and waiting for them. And it just brings up the question that as soon as the side swap happens, are we going to see a change in the story? Are we going to see a change in the round results?
I mean, I have an interesting story, but I'll save it for the halftime switch. For now, my hopes are just lying on the shoulders of IonQ. Got the big operator in his hands, and I think with this, at least Optimistic Esports will start to play their defaults in a very disciplined fashion rather than, pushing out and trying these experimental things that they've been doing. Once again, they'll leave the C side empty, but at least this time they've got the turret over there, so they can afford to rotate in case something happens. Kawhi all the way in defender spawn. Probably going for some star setup. Oh, or maybe he has disconnected. Oh, that's gonna be even worse. OV5 in this case, I guess, then. But Baby God tries to get things under control. Trades do come through, but hey, Kawhi's back.
Alright. That is great information for the side of Optimistic Esports. On a map such as Haven, you do not want to lose firepower when it's not because of the opponents killing the person as well. But speaking of the opponent, speaking of the opposition, Reckoning Esports yet again looking to find a way to get in the bomb site. We can see a couple of astral stars being placed from pixels to obscure the vision of the defenders as well. But yeah, so far, no footfall on the bomb side. That's going to change very quickly as Deadly 10 uses his dive abilities to get into the bomb side. Nano swarms will go through, and the members of Reckoning Esports, they're looking for one kill to initiate the process of the spike going down. However, time forces their hand into doing it already, and now it's going to be a post-plant scenario. Reckoning Esports still holding this line. They're not falling back. They're maintaining their composure. They're not playing on C-long. Everyone is right here, either in the bomb site or near garage.
And here comes the retake, dashing in. They've used some of the utility to clear out the angles, but Deadly 10 still remains undeterred. Finally will be decapitated by Mutable, and with that, he's got enough points to activate the null command. That at least means that they can't use the gravity well to pull away the diffusers, and they'll try to stick it all the way. Pixels does get a stylish highlight reel for himself with frags, but because he's suppressed, he can't pull away the diffuser in time with the gravity well, and with that, they get the round. finally, in the dying embers of the first half, Optimistic Esports put up yet another point on the board.
I should probably place some stars in the
Some better late than never, I guess. But still, I think the name of the game, it has to be the side swap. Optimistic Esports, they've got to figure out a way to break through the defense of Reckoning, because Reckoning seem like the team who will hold their ground. With what has already happened so far in the initial 12 rounds, Reckoning are not going to back off. At times, we may see them go for something like a retake play after the site has been taken control by the attackers. But for the majority of the part, with members such as Deadly 10, with someone like Bad Love on the chamber as well, yeah, Reckoning are not going to give up side control very easily. They will fight their way tooth and nail until someone dies. Either it's the attackers or it's the defenders.
Exactly. I mean, Optimistic Esports had a very different idea of how to defend, sometimes giving up two sides at once and then focusing solely towards the middle section of the map, mostly on Garage and sometimes on A-Link and C-Link as well. But that didn't give them all that many results. I guess the reason they were doing that is because Reckoning Esports started to exploit the mid region of the map a lot towards the start of the first half. So maybe in a counter to that, Optimistic Esports were going for a setup similar to the one that they used. But of course, it didn't end up working out because Reckoning immediately resorted to extremities. And of course, the number of backstab that Optimistic Esports were attempting were also pretty damn high. That's exactly why the Sentinels are the ones who are top ranking. Of course, when Reckoning Esports come towards the defensive side, they will be a very different defensive side from Optimistic Esports. They are not the kind of team that pushes all that much. I mean, it's irony because towards the start of the game, in the analyst segment, I said that Reckoning Esports play aggressively, but not nearly as dynamically as Optimistic Esports. Well. Have I not been proven wrong?
That's true. All right, let's start off round number 13. And yet again, we can see Deadly 10 pushing up towards B, destroys the turret and quickly backs off. And Optimistic Esports, well, they can't really back off because they haven't, been on the front foot so far. There goes the flash. Rio, for an instant, was flash, allowing the members of Optimistic to push up. However, already many reinforcements are here from Reckoning, and it's going to be a quick take. The fragment, well, IonQ just dashes through it again, just part of Jet's repertoire as to how good she can be using her utility. However, the members of Optimistic Esports, they are falling by the numbers. Look at Smoker. Great double kill and a triple to end things off. Yeah, yet again, Optimistic Esports, they were trying to catch their opponents off guard. This was an excellent dive play from IonQ, but the reinforcements, the rotations happened far too quickly than the attackers had hoped for.
Exactly. The flurry of trades, so quick, so precise. I mean, the kill feed went so fast, nobody had the time to catch up, except for Smoker. This guy finally stepping up for his team. I mean, not like he needed to. His team was doing most of the heavy lifting without him even needing to lift a finger. But this time, he's able to get 3 kills, and with that, he's at 8 frags now. And even though he's at the bottom of the scoreboard for his team, he's done his job well enough.
Yeah, and it's not like he's on the bottom of the scoreboard by a large margin. Like, he's got 8 kills. The second, the person next to him is going to be 10 kills. Those are still consistent performances.
Yeah.
Like, if it's that close, might as well be the same thing as Optimistic. They're looking to get into the B-bomb side, but they're just bottlenecking themselves, and Bad Love, right there. Again, just excellent usage. And this was the definition of a massacre, where we got, he manages to get 2 kills, but 5 members through this slim doorway. Yeah, this is a bottleneck. That's it. There's no other way to describe it.
Very aptly put. Bottleneck that heats up so much because there's not just a lot of guns shooting down that narrow corridor, but there's also a lot of utility. I mean, the fragment from Smoker was perfect. He just discouraged them from pushing in, and even if they tried to, the flashes were perfect enough. And Optimistic didn't even use that many smokes to get inside, right? They kind of made the thing harder for themselves. Oh my god, Deadly 10, the ambitious overdive, but there goes Fox into overkill mode.
He gets dinged in the process of something to the side of Deadly 10, but yeah, it's a bonus round. Again, similar thing what we saw in the first half as well. The bonus round was quite good for the defenders. Well, in this case though, Reckoning Esports, they're still looking for a couple of kills. They're not going to go off entirely empty-handed. And now the attack majorly, well, entirely is going to happen towards the A-bomb side, where at the moment, it's going to be Sova all alone. He needs to hold off these 5 members until his teammates arrive. Well, the opponents are right here. Shock dart kill for Rio. He's in the corner. Bad Love is there for his assistance. That's going to be another kill. Rio is still holding on towards a shot. And it's going to be Optimistic Esports falling yet again without getting those kills. I mean, Crips, this reminds me of a round we saw all the way back in something like round number 2 or 3, where there was that one jet towards A shot and no one from the attack could just dispose her very quickly. And then her teammates came to the rescue and everyone in the attack just died.
Exactly. Just a second ago, I remember you saying that Rio is alone over here on the site. And the next thing you know, the defenders have established their foothold so strongly on the site. Battle of tapping away like he's a madman. And he repeats again and again. Just nothing deters him. He knows he's got Fox trapped.
Match point.
Oh,
Is this it? I mean, for
I guess
Haven,
so.
I know I propped up Haven to be like, I mean, in my eyes, this could have been the decider map itself. I said, yeah, 70% of the energy will be spent here. I was wrong. But again, seeing how Optimistic Esports, how well they played earlier, I genuinely didn't want to doubt them. There was nothing in my mind that doubted what was going to happen. I thought this was going to go double digits for either one of these teams. Round 23, round 24, things like that. But no, it shaped up to be a quite significantly one-sided win for Reckoning. And I guess that just shows why Reckoning Esports, they chose this map, is because they're so confident. And Deadly 10, he's quite confident with these picks. He gets one, can get the no-scope. Nah, he can't quite land that. However, there is the Hunter's Fury from Rio to aid those plans of his teammates, still staying alive. And yes, one member of Reckoning Esports falls. Yes, the operator falls. But in return, for 2 players on the side of Optimistic Esports, you've lost your Sentinel, your only Sentinel, and your KO's gone as well.
And you know what the tragedy is? They can't even use that operator all that well. That's why they still have Spectres in the hands instead of the op. Just one Vandal in the hands of Ayan, and he's not even leading the charge. He can't... I mean, he will get the trade eventually, but at what cost? There's no semblance of map control, and you're already about to get backstabbed. Bad Love did not get detected by that alarm bot, which means he's about to shoot this Astra in the head as she's doing her yoga poses. Will he go for a disrespectful play and maybe knife? Nah, he's disciplined enough. He's a man of culture.
Yeah, Reckoning not taking chances, not taking...
the legends of memory and storage. Crucial brings you the ultimate performance in gaming. Legendary products. Precision engineered. For speed and stability. Crucial ballistics.
Hey guys, I'm Ankita. Welcome to Streamer Reviews, the place where you can watch gamers review the best new gaming laptops in the market. Gamers love exploring the vivid detailing of their favorite games. This demands a system that can support their immersive experience. So, we'll be checking out the Intel-powered Lenovo Legion 5, a laptop with features that let you dive into the exciting world of gaming. One of the most important aspects of the Lenovo Legion 5 is its 11th Gen Intel Core i7 processor, with a base clock speed of 2.3 GHz up to 4.6 GHz turbo. It flaunts 8 cores, 16 threads and 24 MB cache. The Legion 5 lets you untether your gaming experience with Intel Wi-Fi 6, ensuring you can enjoy your favorite games wherever you like. Play on the go with up to 75% less latency. The Lenovo Legion AI engine optimizes performance automatically to any of the top 16 AAA games you're playing, with auto detection dynamically allocating CPU and GPU usage accordingly to get up to 15% more FPS. Speaking of senses, there's another sense that's also important for an immersive experience: sound. Thankfully, the Legion 5 has this covered as well. A pair of stereo speakers enabled with dynamic audio gives you an immersive 3D audio experience. Why wait? Get your own Lenovo Legion 5 and dive into the world of gaming today.
Welcome back, everyone. You're watching LG Ultragear presents the Esports Club Gauntlet Season 4, powered by Crucial with our gaming partner Intel and our apparel partner 656. I'm CCV, joined alongside Crips, and we bring to you group stage matches between Optimistic Esports and Reckoning Esports.
Oh, yeah. It was a pretty one sided game for Reckoning Esports. 13-3 victory. They got 9-3 lead in the first half and then proceeded to finish the game out without conceding a single round in that second half. Amazing stuff by Reckoning Esports, but equally questionable decisions by Optimistic. There were certain rounds where they basically posed no resistance. They did not even pose a threat to the side of Reckoning Esports, and rounds were handed to them on a silver platter. I hope as we head into their own map pick, Optimistic should be a little more comfortable, and hopefully they can put up a comfortable, if not comfortable, at least a competitive scoreline.
True. And okay, I know I said this for Haven. I know I said Optimistic Esports is going to be a close affair. And yes, it was a 13-3. But for Split as well, I do believe it can be competitive. Because we saw from the side of Optimistic Esports, their previous match they played here, the Gauntlet against Team Valor, they played the map of Split and they ended up winning 13-8, which is quite a good score. On average, it's a great win for their side. For the side of Reckoning, it's been a while since we've seen a Reckoning on Split. So I'm not really sure what to expect from their roster. However, I don't think they'll be deviating that much from the composition. It's just going to be a change in which player, plays which agent, and things along the lines of that. As for the side of Optimistic Esports, I believe it's going to be a general. I mean, looking at what they played the last time, it was interesting stuff. They opted for double duelist, double controller, which yes, we have seen on Split, but not really as much as something like just a double controller or even a double sentinel. So it is interesting what the selections will be from the side of both of the rosters and what their compositions will incorporate.
Well, I really think that the KO selection will definitely come through
Mhm.
once again. I mean, we've seen it become a meta pick on Haven recently, but it had been in the meta in Split for quite a long time. So I won't be surprised if they go for a KO pick. Although,
True.
do you think a double controller is something they could explore? Astra has been the default controller of Split, but even Viper is becoming a potential pickup by both these teams.
Exactly. Yeah, looking at Optimistic Esports, Q has gone to the chamber. All right, that's interesting. Last time we saw him on the map of Split, he was on the jet. So again, just what we were talking about in the pre-match presentation, it's the versatility. Anyone can play any agent. As for Reckoning, they have gone for double duelist. And for their controller, well, it feels like it's just going to be Pixels back up again on the Astra, no changes there. So it's going to be a standard double duelist setup, which makes sense. I mean, Raze on this map also makes sense. There are many corners, Jet does the same. But yeah, they're just going to go for what used to be like months and months ago the standard North American composition. As for the side of Optimistic Esports, they are yet to
North American.
confirm their agents, and yeah, so far still up for debate. What exactly are they
Select
going to
your
go for?
agent.
Well, a breach certainly could shake things up, quite literally, pun intended. And both of them picking it up. Wow. Seems like we can have some flashy plays, especially from the side of Reckoning Esports, because this is the breach with two mobility characters, Jet and the Raze. We're gonna
Yeah,
see a lot of aggressive dives from this team. But they're
exactly.
starting on the defensive side, so does that kind of make you a little nervous? Because if they start dive bombing on the defense, then I think Optimistic Esports will have no choice but to fight back with their own breach utility. Similar compositions for both these teams, except for once again the choice of the Sentinel.
That is true. And now it makes me think what exactly the side of, Optimistic Esports they will do on their attack, because their defense is quite strong. No one is denying that. When they played against the side of Team Valo, again, it was a 13-8 game, but on defense for Optimistic, they won the half 10-2. Quite one-sided. But on their attack, what exactly is going to be their plan? Yes, their composition has changed. It's going to be that double duelist. So it makes me think that we may see something along the lines of far more aggressive plays, and you need to see them. You need to have these teams, and these teams themselves, the players themselves more specifically, need to go for more aggressive plays or have confidence in their gunfights, because that is something that was lacking for quite a couple of rounds for the side of Optimistic Esports all the way back in Haven, when Reckoning were just quite literally tearing apart whatever defense was propped up from their opponents. Well, with all that being said and done, it's going to be the defense of Reckoning Esports themselves for the initial 12 rounds. Then the side swap will happen. Let's continue. Let's initiate round number 1. Map 2 is right here. And again, as every single team on Split goes, the members of Optimistic Esports are looking for mid control, and they're up in B heaven.
Oh my god, Battle of a very risky place to chuck that paint shell into. Could have died, but now he's gonna have to face the brunt, and the flashes are perfect. He's good for the defense. And Deadly 10 is here just in the nick of time, dashing around and getting all the head clicks. It's just Immutable left, trapped in hell, and he will be sent packing straight down to the depths of hell if he continues staying there. Rio facing him head on, but now here comes the fault line. Just when I thought Immutable could get him, Rio pulls out the classic and executes him. Oof. Very sweaty round from the side of Reckoning Esports, but they rely on their grit, determination, and their aim.
Yes, they do. And, well, all those things do work for their side. Their aim, more specifically, did allow them to get 5 kills at the cost of only a single death. Yeah, Webby got, he got 1 kill, but that was that. I mean, I'm not going to lie, that was a great defense from the side of Reckoning Esports because of the fact that Deadly 10 was able to get that 1 kill on towards Garage, then get a double towards B Heaven as well. It just absolutely disconnected the 2 pushes that Optimistic were looking for, one from Garage and multiple members from Heaven, and because of that, Reckoning got a plain and simple round. And yet again, they're disrupting the flow. What exactly were Optimistic Esports looking for here? To push up mid, get access into B Heaven. Well, it has been disrupted, and now the peak happens from Heaven as well. The spike has been dropped, and yes, it is an eco round, but still a great defense from the members of Reckoning.
Death from above screams bad love as he just descends upon that chamber from the skies. Reckoning Esports, I have to admit that triple peak was deadly. Like you said, the moment the flash went out, the peak came in from B Heaven and from the rope room instead, and the rope room as well. So yeah, very aggressive tactics of taking control on mid. Reckoning Esports just refused to let go. They refused to relinquish.
They did, and there was just nothing Optimistic Esports could do about that. It was just the disparity of the weaponry that both the teams had. I mean, again, it was an eco round. Now, though, for both of the teams, some positives. For the side of Reckoning, they don't even have to invest in a single bit of weaponry. It was a proper, flawless bonus round for them, so they can have those Spectres and Marshals yet again. For Optimistic Esports, however, this can be the first opportunity of a round win because they've got these rifles full armor on board, and they have to work their magic. Mid control has been allowed by Reckoning. In this instance, they're not focusing on mid control, they're focusing on the outskirts of the map near the bomb sites. And this gives a lot of resources and a lot of scenarios for Optimistic Esports to play with. They can go from sewers, A main, and mid, or they can go for a split B take as well, but they have to make a decision as there's only a minute on the clock remaining and there have been no casualties at all.
Yeah, but I think a split B push is off the menu right now because Deadly10 is already pushed out of B garage. So he's got that area covered. And with this, he's got enough information to tell his teammates to start stacking the A side. That's exactly where the push is coming, but they might be a bit late for that. Alarm Bot will at least detect them, so they are aware about the presence of Optimistic Esports, but can they stop them? I don't think so. They most likely will have to just hold this crossfire and hope that if these 2 players die, they are good for the retake. Oh, fancy footwork from the race, but they get blocked off mid-air. Even Webby got drops to the ground. This thing is falling apart. It's like a house of cards in a tornado.
In this case, it wasn't even a tornado, it was just fan on 3 settings. And that was that. That was enough to set off everything and the entire collapse of Optimistic Esports. They forgot to check the corners. And again, granted, there were just too many corners and too many members on Reckoning to check. There was that single instance where the members of, as soon as you mentioned that the rotations will be happening, Reckoning Esports were going for the rotate, but then they stopped. That was the golden opportunity for the members of Optimistic to strike. But again, yes, we can see that since we all can have a look at the mini-map and we can see all 10 members, Optimistic Esports could not. But even the execute that they did go for, I mean, they just, forgot to check corners and they were just rushing into things. There is a reason behind that. They were low on time. They didn't have even a single kill on board. I think that was the major driving force. Because the members of Optimistic Esports hadn't gotten a single member, they were afraid there were going to be many members on the A-bomb side, which was the case, and thus it led to Reckoning getting another win and picking up a lot of those rifles.
So, Reckoning Esports, they give up on taking mid control, but they still manage to burn out enough time that Optimistic Esports find themselves on the back foot. Even after taking control of the mid vent room so early on in the round, they're not able to capitalize on it on time. And by the time they actually hit, even though the rotations from Reckoning were not there, the crossfires were good enough. And in case the crossfires failed, everyone else was playing for a retake scenario. So Reckoning Esports had this covered, even though they seem like they aren't taking control of the map as much as they should be. It's all calculated, it's all planned.
Certainly is. And now Optimistic Esports, they have to make major calculations, but well, it all leads to the same sum, the same result. It's not enough money. They just can't buy a lot of gear. Yanq is there, the star fragger. Well, he was the star fragger in the previous match, but right now only 2 kills. It's been 3 rounds and the entire team of Optimistic has 2 kills. That is not a pretty score. And with upgraded pistols, a Marshall Phantom, it's a weak buy from the attack. They'll be trying whatever they can. Brilliant shot from Bad Luck, even far better from the side of Fox. Another self-flash peek allows Rio to get that kill. And again, it's just plain basic utility usage, allowing Reckoning to push so aggressively, alongside the fact that they know their opposition is not on good weaponry. They know their armory isn't well bought out, so they can, just exploit that instance as well. And there's just nothing that Optimistic can do about it, sadly. And well, Reckoning entirely changed their plan now. They were quite aggressive, and now they're just going to be holding angles as they wait and wait for the attackers to come into their crosshairs.
IonQ is going to be the first one. The moment he swings, he sees two people.
Enemy remaining.
Nothing can be accomplished. Reckoning Esports holding on to this mid-region like a fortress. Quite the opposite of what they did in the previous round. So definitely a lot of things are being switched up by this team, keeping Team Optimistic Esports on their feet.
Oh, okay, that's the operator for Deadly 10 right there. I'm not really sure what's happened towards defender spawn. It's just a gun swap. It's just gun swap, nothing much. Just a thrift store find. But for the side of Optimistic Esports, they have to find their way. They have to look every place, every corner to just etch a win. And again, it's just coming down to kills, because the entire team of Optimistic Esports totally, as a sum, have 4 kills. It's been 4 rounds, the entire team. Those are not good numbers.
Oh,
They'll be looking
no.
to change that as Immutable pushes into the smoke. Can he get a kill? No! Smoker turns back with the Phantom. Excellent kill. And now with your dive agent being gone, all the other 4 members are going to get bottlenecked right here towards B main. The angles are being maintained. Smoker will be good for another kill. Pixels, though, loses his life. That could have been a great opportunity for a kill. However, the other members of Reckoning Esports are here. The spike is still in the bomb site. It has been dropped. There is no way for Optimistic to retreat. They have to stick through with this plan.
Yeah, and the only thing that can go wrong for Reckoning is if they somehow walk into the crossfires that Optimistic Esports will establish. But no, instead of establishing that, they're going for the peaks even further. Kinda unnecessary, but I get it. They're trying to alleviate their pressure. I mean, if the Optimistic players just held a crossfire with one player being towards the back of side and one player being towards pillars, they could have not just gone for the spike plan, but even covered each other as they're trying to do that. If nothing else, at least it would have baited out the peak from Reckoning Esports and, hope that Reckoning Esports commit a mistake on that peak. But no, instead you go ahead and offer a fight yourselves. That's kind of counterproductive. And with this, Reckoning Esports not only get 5 rounds, but also 4 ultimates available. And also, that fact that you pointed out, they had 4 kills in 4 rounds. Oh my god, yeah, that's scary statistics. That's exactly why numbers are scary to me.
After giving my exams, I'm not gonna lie, they quite are. But then again, there were no numbers in my exams. Just whatever. All right, Reckoning Esports, the number they have to think about is the 1 next to the 0 in the overall best of 3 with how it's occurring. Reckoning have the first map in their hands as both the members gliding down on the ropes. Again, brilliant instance of a rifle up against a sheriff. That's going to be the first kill with the side of Reckoning. They delay the B execute even further, but it's not really an execute, is it? Optimistic members, they're just looking for passive map control, and they are getting that. Reckoning are not contesting mid. They're using their utility. They're letting it work. Again, as soon as the turret fires a single kill, the gravity will go through. Nano Swarm and Pixels now with the peak. Smokers into the bomb side. That's going to be 1 kill. Okay, hard fought, but a kill nonetheless. And now Pixels is back into the bomb side. From heavens, he drops down. And the hammer is going to drop down onto the members of Optimistic as well. Again, just like the previous round, no way for them to escape. No way home. They gotta stick this through. They are looking for the kills. Wow. They are getting those. Immutable. Excellent headshot so far. And he's got to find more. He does. Oh, no. He's on par for an ace. Pixels is there. It's going to be Kawhi getting the final frag on board. And Optimistic Esports, they get 1 round, their first of hopefully many.
Mutable was the first one to die in the previous round as he dive bombed into the site. But this time he drops the bomb on Reckoning Esports, a quad kill. He was on 0 frags before this. Every single frag that he has in this game came from this round. And what an impactful round it was.
Certainly. But the thing is, now Optimistic Esports, they have to replicate this round yet again Reckoning Esports, the thing is, their economy isn't flourishing as well. Even though you think they have won 5 rounds, they still can face some hardships if the timing is correct and if the way that optimistic play this will be correct. As Immutable now, with his newfound confidence, pushes into vents. Excellent kill with the flash. Webby God, not just with the flash but with his guns as well. He finds another member and this defense is crumbling down. Reckoning Esports, they have to utilize their ultimates or something or the other in order to equalize and neutralize this man count. Otherwise, Optimistic Esports are going to run them over in round number 7.
If not run them over, Optimistic Esports are at least crawling towards the A site. I mean, not that there's a lot of defenders over here, but finally they're able to get those opening picks. In response to that, Batlov will push bravely out of B garage and spot nobody over here. So at least with this proactive push, they recognize that Optimistic have no choice but to go towards the A side, but they are in no position to defend. Run away, Deadly 10. It's not worth it. Not worth it staying over there. Showstopper stops and he pushes ahead of the Nebula. Turn around 180 degrees, but Immutable's there faster. It's just Batlov left and he's got a Showstopper of his own. But Webby stops that show before it even starts. Curtains are closed. Time to go home.
Right, Optimistic Esports, like I just said, not just for Immutable, but for the entire roster, it is the newfound confidence after winning that singular round. And the thing is, they still have enough time to salvage this half if they need be. Like Reckoning Esports, they've only gone 5 rounds so far. It's not entirely out of the hands of Optimistic. They can absolutely turn this into something like a 6-6, very likely. Or it can be like a 7-5 favoring Reckoning. Even to that, I do not think the members of Optimistic Esports will be that hard struck because their strength absolutely lies in their own defense. What I was talking about earlier, when Optimistic fought off against Team Valor, they won 10 rounds out of 12 on their defense. So the members of the attacking squad right now, they just have to hold on till the storm passes, get as many rounds as possible, even if the way in which they get the rounds is through a lot of resources, is through investing a lot of the utility, buying a lot of guns, losing a lot of lives. It's just that number going up that should matter to Optimistic Esports, not how they reach there.
Well, by hook or by crook, they have to put up the numbers. Reckoning Esports at least have some economic momentum built up from all these rounds that they've been able to win. So they can muster up one last buy. Of course, it's going to have to be with compromises. Okay, picking up the Bucky. I'm really excited to see him play in some cheeky spots and get some really salty kills. And he's going to do exactly that, directly under heaven. Let's see if he gets any action or not, because for now, Optimistic are just focusing on mid. It's worked for them in the past, so why not? They've been able to get at least up until the top of mid every time. But after that, whether or not they are able to convert it into a round win is something that's still up for debate.
Yeah, because Reckoning Esports, if they want, they give up mid control to the attackers. We've seen this a couple of times. It's just as soon as we see footfall towards like nearby and adjacent places to the bomb site, that's when Reckoning are like, oh, no. Hold your line, you cannot progress any further, and that's when they start firing the guns. So far, nothing to alert the members of Reckoning. They have passive members everywhere. They are going to push themselves, but that's a big mistake. Immutable's already in vents. Yes, Badlov gets 1 kill, but at the cost of 2 of your defenders gone. This allows Optimistic so many chances. The Rolling Thunder goes through. Deadly 10 cannot do anything for the next couple of seconds as Pixel helps him out towards the B-bomb site.
Alright, well, Pixels, his smoke got them killed towards mid, but maybe he can recover things. Maybe he can bring it back. He's already on the backstab, and there's only one thing that can stop him, and that's IonQ. Oh, maybe he'll kill them both at once!
Oh my god! Headshot!
Hit the rewind button, ladies and gentlemen. Or maybe our producers will do it for you. That is a stylish frag. Definitely will boost the confidence of Optimistic Esports in a rather bleak game.
That one's going on the highlight reel. I mean, we've seen so many of these montages with, collat kills. We have like in-house connoisseurs as well of collateral kills right here. But I have to say that was an excellent kill, especially with the Tour de Force nonetheless. Like, you get one in like 5 or 6 rounds an opportunity to use that, and he did to perfection. But alright, overall, great round for the side of Optimistic Esports. Yeah, they really are on the up and up now, and things are looking quite well for them. Now, it's the side of Reckoning Esports who may take the time out themselves, who may have to go over the fact that what exactly do we need to do in order to stop these attacking wins, in order to get the majority majority of the rounds. This is now a compromise for both of these rosters. Reckoning no longer have, we'll take as many rounds as possible. Reckoning have to take this strategically, because after losing their final full buy that they could afford, they'll be back on lower grade weapons and they have to make something out of this. Chances are though, and the rational opinion says, this may just be another round win for Optimistic Esports.
Let's see if they can finally win. Optimistic Esports have broken the camel's back. They've broken Reckoning's economy, and this could be their chance to come back. Of course, but you have to take care of all the other ultimates that Reckoning Esports have. Battle of Showstopper can ruin things. You can ruin a party before it even starts. And of course, Pixels with the lockdown combination, using his Cosmic Divide, is perfect for retaking. Even Rio is like 1 point away from his Rolling Thunder. So yeah, they've got plenty of stuff with which they can retake. And a Hero Vandal onto Pixels, why not?
True. Yeah, the members of Reckoning Esports, they have to salvage and they have to manage with whatever they can. Like you mentioned, their weaponry can allow them to win, but again, it's just the sheer overwhelming nature that Optimistic Esports will go for. Because now Optimistic are like, okay, if Reckoning gives us mid control early on, you know what, we will take it. We will take every single opportunity, and that's why for the past couple of rounds we've been seeing Immutable just dive into vents, and now Reckoning Esports deny them. Now they have two members on vents right now. However, the attackers, well, it's not their plan to go for mid at all. It's going to be a proper A take. Reckoning very quickly realized this. They have rapid changes into their defense. Almost everyone is rotating over. Kills are happening so far. Two members have died. Immutable's right here into the bomb side, looking for a frag. Smoker's got to fall back. Everyone from Reckoning, they have to use their ults if possible, because those are the only things that will allow the defenders to win this round.
Oh no, I'm getting bad vibes over here. Optimistic Esports, instead of defending, they're pushing deeper in towards screens. This could be the one thing that goes wrong for them. If they overextend, these guys will destroy them. The Cosmic Divide will push them further. Please get out of there. Showstopper has been dealt with. IonQ lining up two people once again, this time with a Phantom instead. Things are still looking a little optimistic, pun intended. Especially when they're dealt with everyone. It's all Gucci. Rio ends up flashing himself because of the Cosmic Divide playing tricks on his mind. But hey, at least they walk out of this round with one Phantom in hand. That's better than what they started with. They had like one Hero Vandal, and they will be able to retain that money. Padlab's ultimate though didn't really do anything for them, so that was a bit of a waste. But they still have the Cosmic Divide unlocked on in the next round, so things could still go, in their favor. And I think Rio's Rolling Thunder is much more impactful in a situation like this, especially because Optimistic Esports have been relying on these brute force pushes since the last two rounds. I mean, sure, they get mid control every time, but it almost always comes through from the extremities as well. So maybe that can be deterred over here with the Rolling Thunder.
Totally so, and Reckoning Esports, they need to find a round win, because we are nearing the final stages of the first half. This is going to be round number 10. And the thing is, if Reckoning lose out here, again, another eco buy forces their hand, and we may just see Optimistic Esports being the advantage. Just a slight chance of that happening. But OE can certainly achieve that if they need be. Their economy is looking good. They have the firepower. They've got the ults as well. Tour de Force is back up. You've got the Blade Storm on Immutable. So a lot of things that can help the attackers. It is into the hands of the defenders to take something, to do something about the situation. And they are trying to, at the very least. They've got 3 members on towards the B-bomb site. No one peeking. Pixels did, and look where that ended up. 30 HP, no armor. Well, he can still be brave enough for another kill if the need be, or another peek. Now, Optimistic Esports, they have a lot of plans, a lot of opportunities to go through, but now they're going to fall back. A vents is not their spot. They're going to go towards B, and that is where the hit relies on.
Yeah, they gave away a little sound cue, a footstep into the mid-bend region. So Reckoning Esports are aware that they're present in the region, but now that the Cosmic Divide has come through, it kind of acts like a universal deterrent,
30 seconds left.
just hoping to buy time for Reckoning Esports. And with this lockdown, they force Optimistic Esports to dive bomb even further into a trap. But will they fall for it? No, they don't. Optimistic can recognize this as a trap. There's no way that they fall for this. They're not taking that risk. But this time, it's running out, and there's still no kills in the round. Finally, IonQ starts off the killing spree, but can they go for it? Spike drop, and the clock is ticking. They start to plant it just at the last moment. And will it be denied? The paint shells are a bit too late. The spike will go down, but the kills come through for Reckoning Esports. Bad Love shooting down everybody. Does he know where the last player is? Another paint shell earned because of the multitude of kills he got. The reload could have been disastrous, but at least with this, he's now heard the sound cues. More droppings, but Bad Love's taking it. Pros don't fake, and they definitely don't make the mistakes. Oh, what a round from Reckoning Esports. They outbrained the hell out of Optimistic.
It all started from that Killjoy lockdown. Had Inevitable not been detained, again, it's a prime example of the butterfly effect. Had he not been detained, he would have been in the bomb side to help out with these trades. And I do not think that Battle of Godek gotten 3 isolated kills, just like in the manner he did. But hey, that's Valorant for you. Reckoning Esports take their much needed round. The problems still do not end for them though. You know, economically they are suffering a bit. They are looking for kills, and that's exactly, again, brilliant crossfire being set up. The lure play happened right there, and that means that one of the top fraggers, Immutable for Optimistic Esports, is gone. The dive agent is gone. You still have the raise. However, in a 4 versus 5, what can you really do?
4 versus 5 indeed, but I'm still stuck on the last round, man. That was so impressive. It's a retake combination, the lockdown on Cosmic Divide, but they forced that to turn the tides on Optimistic Esports and, you know, put the ball in their court, force them to dive bomb once again, which you're ready to punish already. We might see something similar in this round as well. Just a minute left, and still, Reckoning Esports have everything they need. No man advantage, no map advantage either, but the moment I say that, Fox satchels out, gets a kill. Webby God overextends. That's a mistake. Now with no breach to counter ult, they push through with the Rolling Thunder, but the trap is set. Kawhi is already in heaven, and he's killing everyone. And whatever he can't do, Fox hopes to redeem with his showstopper, but it's all gone to waste. Nothing is working, and Optimistic Esports once again find themselves with a lot of dead bodies and nothing to show for it.
He's still pushing nonetheless with the operator right there. It's going to be another round win for Reckoning Esports. And now the tides have turned yet again. I mean, Reckoning Esports, at the very least, they'll be getting a 7-5. However, they can, and well, they absolutely will be pushing for an 8-4. That's the thing. And that's still a decent score for both of the rosters. Both of the rosters will be longing for more. Optimistic Esports, because they had that 4-round winning spree. They knew inherently that they could have made it better. And that one round with which, you know, the diffuse came in, there was the Killjoy lockdown, all that stuff. It could have very well, and it should have gone the way of the attack. But in this case, well, the round start certainly does go their way. That's steadily 10 gone off the board. Yes, IonQ takes a lot of beating for them, down to 30 HP. But again, a kill is a kill nonetheless. 4 versus 5, but in this case, the teams have been swapped, unlike how the previous round initiated. But just like the previous round, it's going to be another B hit. Well, what seems to be a B hit. Bad Love's there with the showstopper. He can fire one. He does. Misses the corner. Peeks the angle. Drops the spike. Drops the body. Show her again. Satchels have been traded. But the spike being in no man's land means it's going to be a bit difficult to retrieve.
What a show here. It's an absolute circus with all the mobility characters dancing about. Smokey going for the pre-fire, but the aftershock, and also is a bit redundant. Pixels though, spraying down everybody. Hold on. First of all, if he kills Kawhi and Ion, I can understand. But that lucky connection onto the breach, bro, I have to admit, that has to be a little bit of luck. I don't even think he expected to get that kill.
Absolutely didn't. Alright. 1, 2, huh?
The first 2 were calculated, and the third one was just... Yeah. That's just Lady Luck coming in, sitting right in his lap.
Alright, so a good half comes to an end, but exactly what I was talking about. Both the teams, they would have been a bit more satisfied. But again, they have to deal with the cards that they have been dealt. They have to deal with how this entire flop is going through. And the thing is, though, for optimistic esports, they still have many opportunities. I will say this once again: their defense, is their strongest point overall on split, and it has to start with the pistol round. You cannot give a single bit of leeway towards the members of Reckoning Esports, and the pistol round can be quite influential because it directly means what happens in the next round as well. Immutable, though. Oh, he tags the Astra, falls back immediately, and the members of Reckoning Esports, they know not to contest B unless they have more manpower, which they now do.
Still, it's a rather slow start for both these teams. Two-pronged approach from Reckoning Esports as they've shown presence towards both B and A Heaven. But where's the spike? Towards neither of those areas. The spike, in fact, is heading down the mid-vent region. Not yet. It's still on the back, and now it's been dropped.
Spike down mid.
Oh,
They'll
that's
have to
unfortunate.
take a U-turn now to recover it.
Have the spike.
Well, they're going towards B, or I guess Battler was just looking to check the corner. But still, it brings up the question, where are Reckoning looking to execute? They still haven't found a viable option because there are anchors on both of the bomb sites, on A more specifically. Are they going to go for an entire backstab from defender spawn? Well, Deadly 10 is going towards the A bomb site from defender spawn. Can he isolate these gunfights? He gets one, and there is the trade. The spike is going to be planted, and it is going to be a 3 versus 3 retake.
Finally, numbers are equal. This is the best chance for Optimistic Esports to start their comeback, and it begins with the pistol. Started being the most annoying thing of them all, has been dealt with already. The aftershock will force the players in the cubby to come through, but instead, they are going back. Immutable detected. He's being held back by the aftershock. Now the breach, a little bit of double pressure of time comes through for him, and he can't deal with it. He has to look at two places at once. Immutable has to come from all the way behind, and they can just start to
Excellent
corner him
weapon
over here.
usage. Yeah. Great stuff right here. The Sheriff alongside the body will be dropped very soon. Don't really do much. Alright, that's one kill. Alright, that's that. Reckoning Esports, they get the pistol win, and I think the players know just how valuable this win is for them. Because so far, the one thing we have noticed, Scripps, is that no matter which team wins the pistol, and this applies for Haven as well, the teams have a 100% second round conversion rate. If you win the pistol, so far the teams have won their force buys as well. And again, this is your standard force buy. Spectre's full armor and only classics. I do not think this will be changing anytime soon. Reckoning Esports after this short round will be going into double digits. Not a lot prevents that. Optimistic Esports know this. That's why they'll be prepared for the next round with their rifles.
Bomb buddy out.
They don't want to walk into any traps. They know for a fact that Optimistic Esports are on an eco, so they're just being very measured in every step, treading carefully. I'm a little nervous with Deadly 10 proceeding all by himself. No trade potential, but does he need anyone to trade? No. A few seconds into the round and this man's already into the site, but his teammates follow up just as well. Okay, then Immutable getting a few offhand kills towards Garage. With the shorty, that too. But it doesn't deter any of the players of Reckoning Esports. The spike was not even spotted. They can still continue on their pursuit of excellence. And yet another almost flawless anti-eco. Reckoning Esports take no losses. A bonus round looking pretty promising for them.
Exactly.
Chamber
They get the spike down as well. Yeah, that was Chamber versus Raze. And honestly, he gets the kill without a single bit of health point damage, and now. Okay, alright, that was unnecessary. But Reckoning Esports, they
Hey.
get through it.
No, no, it's absolutely necessary, bro. You have to rub salt into your enemy's wounds. That's not even good sportsmanship spirit. It's just human spirit. If you get a chance, you have to do it.
Wait, was it Reckoning Esports that once tried something like this against Enigma? I don't know. There was
yeah.
one match. It was on the map of Haven, and it was one member from Enigma who was there. And Reckoning Esports did this, and they failed horribly. It was like a 1 versus 4. I'm not really sure which match was it. I think it was a while ago, but I ever since then I'm like very worried about this kind of stuff because you see teams do this, and if they fail, all right, whatever.
I mean, if they
In
fail,
this-
at least Reckoning Esports have a buffer.
True. All right. Now, in this case, Optimistic Esports, they've got the rifles, but the members of Reckoning do so as well. They're not going to go for a full buy bonus. They're not going to go for a full-on bonus. They will be investing their own credits into round number 15 as well. On one hand, does make sense. You want to combat rifles with rifles, but on the other, they have invested a bit of extra credits when they really could have, gone for just a regular bonus and just save all those credits for the next round. Regardless of that, 40 seconds in this action phase have gone through, no casualties so far. You have this duo pushing up B heaven. They have been spotted, and IonQ gets a good kill with the Phantom, falls back immediately as Baby God gets another, and Reckoning Esports one by one, they're getting picked off, and there's nothing they can do about it so far.
Not yet. They had the Phantom in the hands of T10, but now that he's been dealt with, Smoker has taken up that responsibility. Bad Love knocking on the doors of B Heaven, but that's not where the Execute is headed. He's most likely going to join his team from Vents and carry forward in this A ramp execute, which looks kind of tough because 3 defenders are already prepared for this one. Not the best Nano Swarm, but they still get the kill nonetheless. Time is of the essence, and Smokey getting all the kills is good. He's even managed to cross over, which means the spike plant is now possible. Bad Love with the fancy footwork, somehow avoiding death. Immutable not able to frag him in time. And Reckoning Esports have salvaged the round no matter what happens. Immutable with the stylish points. He's getting all the kills, but I think Reckoning Esports will be okay with this loss. They started off with the bonus, they got quite a lot of kills, and they might just still win this round. Smokey still can delay them. He's got the lockdown, but he's most likely not going to invest it in this open spot. Could use it as a bait if need be, but he's circling all the way around. Immutable has to be the bodyguard. Half defuse being stuck. Bodyguard killed, but the man himself takes up the responsibility.
My God.
On the verge of an ace, on the verge of greatness. Reckoning Esports could have had the round, but again, CCV, this was just a bonus. They are okay with the loss. They were never supposed to win it in the first place.
Agreed. I mean, the result that they got, yes, granted, it was all just thanks to Smoker, and he really should have been stopped by Optimistic Esports after his, second kill? But he got it nonetheless, and he has dealt the damage, not just, again, economically, but psychologically as well.
Exactly.
Optimistic Esports know that because they have lesser weaponry, because they don't have those carry-on rifles, Reckoning Esports will have a bit of an advantage. Look at that. Where we got with the Spectre right now. You have Kawhi as well with the Spectre. Reckoning Esports, I think they should know about this. And because of that, Optimistic Esports, their hand has been forced. They get aggressive towards A, and well, the duo is moving towards defender spawn as well. So the attackers, they are technically surrounded on a lot of corners, but they have an opportunity to break through because of the sheer volume of members they have and the weaponry which they possess.
Definitely. So they're kind of forced in a corner. Of course, they can break out of it, but it's going to require a lot of force. And I hope that the spike doesn't get dropped because the backstab is already here. Immutable causing havoc. Still trying to buy time. Using the Cloudburst to escape and hopefully disrupt them. Elevation acquired, and with that, a kill too. But finally, now that the backstab has been dealt with, Spike's been spotted. Fox trying to follow up even further, but ends up letting Reckoning walk away with the advantage. Baby God going in for yet another flank. Will be encountered with 3 people at the same time. As he tries to switch the rifle, they will trade him. So many backstab opportunities, and Optimistic Esports, even after all that, things are the same. And the timing is just unfortunate. Kawhi walks away. And he's not looking in the right direction.
Alright, well now he surely knows the members coming in from mid, and again, too many members to deal with. IonQ, the only person surviving, is known his location, he pre-fires. Smoker gets the kill, and Reckoning Esports take the round. I love how even in a map such as Split, where you do not have so many opportunities to penetrate through the defense or the attack of your opposition, Optimistic Esports still go their way of how they were playing on Haven, and just somehow seep into their old playstyle, and it works. I mean, 2 excellent kills for the side for Immutable with his Blade Storm right there. Great usage, and just a great example of catching your opponents off guard. There was nothing Reckoning were expecting about that.
Yeah, definitely they weren't expecting the pushes from Immutable, but after that, I feel like after they've acquired the man advantage, they could have just held their ground. They had the advantage, the ball was in the court of Reckoning, they didn't need to move anymore. They ended up neutralizing the situation instead, so all the work of Immutable was gone to waste. This time he's going for even more hard work. Operator deep in the facets of Garage. At least he spotted the spike, so that's something. Hopefully he can use it even further, but no, walks away with his life. Now another breach comes to respawn with just the same things. But while that's happening, Ion has picked off Bad Love towards A. But I don't think it matters all that much because they already know where the spike was. So Bad Love getting a life sacrifice over there, it's not going to help sell this fake.
Exactly. I think Reckoning are not. Yeah, they're just looking for kills. That's exactly what they were doing in the previous round as well. Reckoning are not moving until they get an opportunity. What did we witness in the previous round? 4 members were towards B main, and they did not get a single kill. They did not back off. They were still looking for a way to get a frag, which they didn't, and it resulted in the backstab from Immutable. Now it's going to be towards B heaven as well as Baby God. He fires, misses. He's got the fault line. He's got everything. The Rolling Thunder has been invested as well, but it won't be working. Immutable there is in the side. He gets a double, looking for a quick scope. A single bullet in the magazine. A single bullet can be enough, but it won't be. It's Rio's burst that allows him to get the kill. Pixels misses his shots, drops the spike, and Reckoning Esports, well, they have to accept defeat for round number 16. Rio can't really do much, can't save the operator, can't save his life if the need be. That's going to be Optimistic Esports getting another round in the second half.
It was a little bit of comedy of errors, this little replay clip, where we got through in everything but the kitchen sink, and he still didn't do anything from it. I really thought that the Gravity Well plus Flash combination would have been the death of those 2 attackers over there, but it took Immutable's deadly operator to finally stop those shenanigans. Hey, even if Rio got, you know, a little ridiculed in this round, his teammates were able to somewhat salvage it, and a round win is a round win. Optimistic Esports desperately needed this. If it wasn't for the follow-up from his teammates, well then, poor Baby God. All his efforts would have been in vain. With this, they've also broken Reckoning's economy, so they won't be able to get to map point anytime soon.
Yeah, but the thing is, Reckoning, they have this, like, it's a very small margin of buffer, like 5 rounds or so, but they can utilize that, especially when they're quite literally on the brink of getting match point and so close to closing out this entire best of 3 ordeal entirely by, winning it 2-0. So I'd say the Reckoning are still close. As of now, no cigar. Optimistic Esports are trying their level best. All 5 members and the coach, discussing through and through in this timeout to make sure that everyone is on the same page and everyone can perform just like how they want to be. Because the thing is, yes, Reckoning Esports may not have the best firepower in terms of guns. What they do have in overabundance are ultimates. I mean, look at that. Cosmic Divide goes through. Deadly 10 with the Bladestorm. He's concussed right now. He dives into the bomb site. Baby God. Okay, that's a double with the judge. And he's pushing through, looking for a third as well. Immutable though. Through the Cosmic Divide, he was looking for a kill. Deadly 10 denies him that. The spike for sure is going to go down into the bomb site. There's nothing Optimistic Esports can do about that. But what they can do is the members of Reckoning Esports. However, great Rolling Thunder. Pixels with another kill. Deadly 10, excellent headshot. And this may just be a win for the attackers.
It's like having a taste of your own medicine. So, what happened in this round was quite comical. Deadly 10 dashes in, but all his teammates behind him have to face that judge, and 2 of Reckoning players die over there. But they make up for it by having Rio utilize his Rolling Thunder, and then they push even further instead of just holding their angles and playing for the post-plant positions. They turn the aggression on even more, and Optimistic Esports are now on the back foot. And then, of course, the salty judge kill at the end to steal that op. Put it in the hands of Bad Love. I'm surprised Deadly 10's not using it, but hey, as long as you're hitting the shots, it doesn't matter who gets it.
Absolutely so. And Optimistic Esports, well, they need to be the ones hitting those shots. Oh, then what has been destroyed? There's Immutable right in the corner. I think he has been spotted. Oh, okay, that's going to be a kill for the side of Reckoning Esports. Already starting off this round in a good manner. And I have to say, Optimistic Esports, with one of their members, with one of their rifles being gone as well, it's a very tough ask from their side to try and win this round and to postpone the victory for Reckoning.
Okay.
Oh,
Placing swarm grenade.
close.
Swarm grenade
But
out.
this is just a ruse, just a distraction. Smoke is creating all this noise towards the A side. Meanwhile, his teammates are trying to move in towards vents. Now, this does indicate an A hit, but it's coming in a little bit late, and I hope Reckoning are able to make the timing work. At least they're getting all the kills, so timing isn't that big of an issue. Now, the problem is, what happens if you get backstabbed by Kawaii already? He's trying to move in. Pixels loses his life, so hey, the backstab wasn't really required, but at least they've taken control of mid. Spike moving into the A site, and it's been planted in the
30
open.
seconds left.
This is a bait once again. Badlove will be able to stop them from coming through. Fortline doesn't hit him, but he misses the shot. No problem, he's got something bigger in the works. Fox denies the ultimate right there. Rio getting double peak, can't get the spray transfer in time. And Fox now has another opportunity to put up a round on the board, keep his team alive. Even the rolling thunder, the showstopper comes through, but it's of absolutely no use. Smoke has got the elevation, but not the shots. Fox turning around once more. The quad kill comes through and keeps Optimistic Esports alive for yet another round.
That seemed like it was it. That seemed like Badlove could have ended it right then and there. But the swing coming in from Fox and all the 4 kills were very influential. I mean, Reckoning Esports, they got the spike down. Smokey was in prime position to win out that 1 versus 2 because quite literally nobody would have expected him to rotate over that quickly as the defenders were going around towards A main. However, the shots missing means that Reckoning Esports, well, for this round as well, things are not looking quite on the up and up for their side. They've got a Stinger, they've got a Frenzy, a Judge. At best, they can try and snatch the weapons of Optimistic Esports, but that still lead to not a lot of instances where Reckoning can win this one. What they'll be trying to do, stay in pairs, look for trades and try and deal economic damage, because even for Optimistic Esports, it's not like it's all very well for their side. Many of their members are on 0 credits whatsoever, so their savings as well aren't really much. Reckoning Esports, if played smartly, can deal the damage, can win out, not this one, but probably the next round.
Yeah, it turns into a war of attrition, right? I mean, Reckoning Esports are so close to victory. All they need to do is keep doing chip damage. Use, the 1,000 paper kits technique to bleed them dry and then eventually deliver the final blow when the time is right. That's
Could
why
be.
you'll see Stingers and Judges. I mean, a Judge on the attacking side can't really use it to hold one of those cheeky angles and get a few frags like that. So Deadly 10 will most likely have to dash into the face of his opponents and shotgun them in the face if he wants to make it work. Either way, even if it doesn't work, it's fine. It's Badlove who's got the hero vandal, so he needs to be the one to do heavy lifting. They forced out Ion even further back, and Deadly 10, even with the range, can't make it work. Now that the Judge is lost, the dangerous weapon is out. The Vandal is the only thing that remains, and if Badlove walks through the smoke, he will most likely die and relinquish the Vandal as well, and that's exactly what happens. Fox not... He doesn't want to fall back, even after he's got the advantage. In the past, it's not really been awesome for him, but with him getting the angle on this side, he might be able to make it work. Rio can be a bit cheeky. Nah, Fox beats him to the punch.
Alright, Pixels, what is he looking for? Surely can't run the spike in this situation. He's looking for a kill. He goes with a burst. Nah, spam fire goes through. Another 4K for Fox. That's 2 consecutive 4Ks. And that is just great performance. Yeah, he may be a bit frustrated he can't get the ace, but I don't think that's exactly what's on his mind right now.
Yeah, no.
It's just more about getting his team through towards overtime, because Optimistic still need to win 4 rounds consecutively. For the side of Reckoning, they are going to be investing in this round. We can't spot 1 Guardian on Smokey. Oh well, that's going to be 2 Guardians in total. Yeah, not the strongest buy. But I have to say that apart from that Reckoning, they're just looking for future instances to win. If they can close out this round, well and good. But for Reckoning, they still have to save on, move on. For Optimistic, their economy doesn't really matter a lot because every single round is do or die.
How many more lives have they got left? They're gonna have to be like cats. 9 lives, that's what they're gonna need.
Careful.
If not, at least Mario also will do. 3 lives are also something that they can work with. They just need to win 4 rounds in a row. So yeah, maybe Mario Peaks or something they'll do. And when I say Mario Peaks, I mean jump around the corner and hit those stylish tracks, because that's what they need right now. Immutable and Fox, the 2 duelists, have stepped up for their team in massive ways, but they need to do it once again. Stack towards the mid region. That's not where the attackers are going. Spike lying outside of Subers indicates that Badlove will hit the A site later on after 4 of his teammates fake on B. That's a big gamble. Sure, I mean, in matchmaking, these kind of fakes will work, but there's still 2 defenders right outside A main, and if he tries to go in a little bit too soon, they will discover the spike, and there's an op, or rather the Guardian waiting for them. Well, there you go. Spike carrier. He's able to get into the A side while his teammates are dying on B, and then finally they will call the bluff, they will call the fake, and they'll kill him right as he tries to sneak inside. It didn't work, but then, hey, come on. Reckoning Esports, they were just trying this fake out, knowing full well that it is the oldest trick in the book.
Yeah, at this point, they have to try and see whatever sticks to the wall because really nothing is. Optimistic Esports, they're dodging whatever is being thrown at them, just absolutely contouring their way around the attack that Reckoning have planned, no matter what Reckoning go for. Optimistic have been on this winning spree, and from the looks of it, this round seems to be no different than the others. Reckoning do not have anything on board. They'll be looking for a 5-man push. Earlier, it was a split, it was a fake. This is just sheer pushing through B main, hoping for kills. And it's going to be the first kill going in favor of the attack. However, it will quickly, soon enough, turn into the defenders getting those frags. It may just, the Killjoy lockdown goes through. There's the Cosmic Divide invested from Reckoning as well. No ultimates for Optimistic Esports. This buys the attackers so much time to plant the spike if they would like. No one's going to be detained. Optimistic Esports aren't falling for that this time. However, now, something's got to happen from this defense because they are a man down. And it increases.
Rolling Thunder doesn't hit anyone. Reckoning Esports are going for a massive wraparound. 3 of the players are looking to dive from mid. Optimistic are just looking for the people and they're so confused. They don't find anyone on the site. They think they'll be towards Garage, and they are right about one player, but that's only Rio. Everyone else is somewhere else, and Immutable misses the knives. He's still got the Vandal to work with. He's about to get double peaked. The pixels is enough. That is it, ladies and gentlemen. Reckoning Esports finished the game finally. After conceding a couple more rounds to Optimistic Esports and letting them get a couple more digits on the scoreboard, they put them out of their misery and finished this series 2-0.
Yeah, from the looks of it, Reckoning Esports members quite satisfied with this performance as well. Again, 2-0 win means that they're just an inch closer. And I mean, like we were talking about earlier, we'll talk about the group standings later, but Reckoning are just cementing their position further and further into the Group A and just securing their place into the playoffs as well. But so far from looking at the Optimistic members as well, a bit of disappointment. Webby Fox, they know that it could have been a better performance, certainly on Split. On Haven, a lot of work needs to be done considering what the end score was, but we can really expect Optimistic the next time we see them on Split take another win just like they did previously. This was an instance of Reckoning just being far better on a regular basis, with how they were playing generally, irrespective of the map, irrespective of the player. Reckoning had this under the wraps.
Definitely. It never seemed for once that they were out of control. Always in cruise control, having both the hands on the steering wheel, directing this game to go where it wants it to go. And they drove it straight home. They got this win seemingly pretty easily. And let's take a look at the highlights, because for the most part, Optimistic Esports were able to get control of mid quite often, but they weren't always able to convert that into a round win. And you'll see a lot of clips involving that. A lot of clips where all of these guys are getting bottlenecked towards the vent region or maybe towards B heavens. And this is a deja vu. We saw this happening in Haven as well.
Yeah, that was the thing. From the side of Optimistic Esports, it was always kind of if you look at the map with how we can see the mini-map, they formed a wedge kind of formation where they had 2 or so members towards like the B and A outskirts, but they were backed off. Their primary attacking point was like a single person. Usually it was Immutable because he was playing the Jet, because he had the dive abilities. He was playing towards vents as well and trying to sneak up there. Even on the defense, they just had the similar wedge formation, but you look at it from the top down side where you had 2 members playing towards B, 2 on A, and 1 person near there towards mid who always pushed through. At times, you even saw like more investments happening from Optimistic Esports on the defense on mid. We saw crossfires being maintained. That is why Reckoning were following the opposite plan on their own attack. They had members B main, A main, looking for kills but not getting aggressive. And that was a certain reason why for a couple of the rounds, Reckoning was so frustrated with their attack. It's because they just could not find picks where they were members on the side of Reckoning Esports, for example, B main and A main. No one from the defense peaked, and where they were Optimistic members, there was no footfall from the attack whatsoever.
I mean, not going to take away any credit from Optimistic. There were some really stylish moments from them, though, especially that collateral from Ion Q. Really stylish to look at. And there were several more rounds where Optimistic Esports had good amount of follow-up. Like, they responded pretty well to the incoming pushes from Reckoning Esports. They tried to counter them. Didn't always work. But this round from Pixels, what on earth is that? I mean, the first two kills understandable, but the shot onto Webby. So when stuff like this keeps on happening, what can Optimistic Esports even do? I mean, it wasn't even their fault that they lost that round.
Yep. Yeah, just at so many instances, there were these thrifty wins. Then
The
came the side
knives.
swap, the pistol round as well. Yeah, just favoring Reckoning Esports, and they started off in such a great manner. Exactly the opposite of what Optimistic should have been looking for. Because after a half like that, Optimistic should have realized that okay, we need to win the pistol, but they unfortunately couldn't, and then that transformed into losing the anti-eco as well, and so on and so forth. Reckoning quite rapidly got their way towards 11 rounds, and then Optimistic Esports had such a large fight to go through and so many rounds to win that they just couldn't handle on the pressure.
Immutable, still performing well under pressure. Sometimes buying his team the lifeline that they needed, keeping them alive when it was most required. Although I must admit, there were several instances of smoke walkthroughs as well. Just when they dash past, Webby God comes with a judge, and then
Mhm.
just towards the end of the rounds, you'll see one more instance where there's a judge waiting for them on the other side of the smoke. Except this time, it's in the hands of Reckoning, and with this, they get map point using their own medicine against them. That's what happened. Towards the end, this big brain play from Reckoning Esports was really impressive. I mean, they just left Rio towards Garage, and everyone else went for a wraparound from mid. So even in situations, and not just in split, even in situations where Reckoning Esports are in post plant and all they need to do is just hold the positions and bite down some time, they instead dive into the defender regions and it works for them. Whereas when Optimistic try the same thing, it doesn't work. So you see the irony over there. How
Mhm.
Reckoning Esports are able to make not so how do I say this? Not so conventional plays work. But when Optimistic Esports try to play off the book, when they try to do something out of the textbook, it doesn't work. That's just how
True.
flawed the rules are for the side of Reckoning Esports. They're able to break those rules and get away with trouble.
Absolutely, and they got away with a lot, not just on the map of Split as well, but on Haven 13 to 3. I mean, we discussed that map in depth as well, but it just didn't speak well for the side of Optimistic Esports with how they played. Certainly, improvements need to be seen. And overall, having a look at the group standings as well, which we will in a matter of seconds, from the side of Optimistic Esports, they've got to realize that, yeah, at the
Ooh.
moment they've got to improve in order to get essentially in order to stay in the playoffs, which I think they will, considering they are on 7 points. It's going to be a single best of three remaining for them, so they better get another point or win it entirely. But towards the top of the table, this is a fight. This is a big fight. Reckoning up against Team Exploit. Both of these teams, two more best of threes remaining for their side.
Yeah, I'd really wish I could say that we'll see these teams fight again, but we've already witnessed that. And even though Exploit might be towards the bottom of the scoreboard as compared to Reckoning Esports, they can rest easy with the fact that knowing that they're a better team than Reckoning, even though the scoreboard does not indicate the same.
Mhm.
Optimistic Esports, though, just one game remaining for them, whereas Reckoning and Exploit both have two more games remaining. Of course, the chances of them putting up most points in the board increase, but Optimistic Esports just need to stay ahead of Only Friends and Team Valor. Maybe even True Rippers, because True Rippers also have like 3 games remaining, so they have a chance to earn and catch up with them.
Exactly. I mean, there's this so much still remaining here, the gauntlet. We are starting off with March already. The group stage very soon is going to be coming to an end. So these teams, they better be prepared to give it their everything in the upcoming days, because gauntlet is not going to stop. So everyone watching, if you want to follow your favorite players, if you want to follow your favorite teams, make sure you subscribe to the Esports Club. Make sure you follow us on Instagram as well to not miss a single notification from when a match does go live. We have so many matches on forward, and of course we have the playoffs as well. Teams fighting for a large prize pool, and that prize pool is only possible thanks to our lovely sponsors. We've got LG Ultragear, best monitors in town. You've got all the peripherals from Crucial. You've got the maddest drip from 656. And of course, you've got our gaming partners over at Intel as well. Intel deliver the best gaming value through delivering the best overall gaming experience. Make sure you follow the hashtag Game with Intel. Make sure you follow all the teams and your favorite players as well to not miss their matches. Till then, this has been this match of Optimistic Esports up against Reckoning Esports here, the Gauntlet. I'm CCV alongside Crips, and we'll be signing off. Take care. Bye bye.
One, two, three, let's go.